Alrighty. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're excited to get started with today's webinar of Accuro AI Scribe, powered by Heidi, taking back your time. So just a couple of housekeeping items as we get started. First, my name is Brad. I'm a product marketing manager here at Accuro. I've been here for about 7+ years. We just want to get started today with our mission statement here at Accuro. So it is to unite Canadian healthcare, connecting providers to information, their patients, and each other. We believe that Accuro AI Scribe, powered by Heidi, plays a big role in this, and we're really excited for where this can go. So as always with our webinars, our team is ready to answer your questions. So please be sure to use the Q&A button at the top of your screen. When you click on that, you'll see the questions and answers pane open on the right side of your window. Ask away, and our team at Accuro, and we do have two members from Heidi here today, will be able to chime in. I will mention we do have a designated Q&A block at the end of the presentation, so you can wait till then as well, but feel free to ask throughout. Today is a live event, but it will be recorded. So at the end of this webinar, it'll be added to our Accuro resources page, and it will eventually be shared out by email as well. So feel free to share this with your colleagues at a later date, and it'll be available for all. All right, so welcome. I'll get started with the Accuro team. So we're gonna have Jen Danchuk here today. She's a senior product manager. She's been here for 10+ years. She's a wealth of information and was a big part of our partnership with Heidi. Again, hi, I'm Brad, product marketing manager. And then we'll also have Derek Riggs here as well. He's done a lot of webinars in the past. He's a training solutions designer here at Accuro, and I believe he's been here for 4+ years. For Heidi, we have Maureen and Akshita. They're both Canadian-based. Maureen is the marketing lead, and Akshita is the customer success lead for Canada. Just here to go to the agenda. So welcome introduction. I think I've just completed that. The next part here will be why and how Accuro partnered with Heidi. Jen will take you through that journey. It has been a year plus of active work. We'd also like to share what we've been hearing from you and how Accuro AI Scribe has been making a difference in clinicians. I'll then go kind of through the Accuro AI Scribe workflow at a high level, what that entails, before passing it off to Derek to go over through some time-saving features and practical tips to save time in your day. I'll then take back the screen, go through some subscription options where you can find some helpful resources before we finish up with the Q&A with both Accuro and Heidi. So lots of questions and answers there. And with that, I would like to pass it off to Jen.
Hi, good morning, everyone, or afternoon, wherever you're joining from. So my name's Jen. I'm from the Accuro product management team there. I just want to tell you sort of how this product came to be, as Brad mentioned. So back in 2024, we were researching ways to reduce the admin burden for providers. And one issue that consistently stood out was documentation, right? Clinical documentation. So for some, the documentation was happening during the visit itself. You're listening, thinking, making decisions, finding things in the chart, trying to make eye contact, and furiously typing all at the same time. And that could be quite taxing visit after visit. So other providers might be performing a physical exam or having sensitive conversations and need to have all of their notes completed after hours. Then you add referral letters, admission reports, patient summaries, and other documentation requirements, and that often results in spending evenings and weekends trying to catch up. So we wanted to do something about it. So around this time, the AI scribes were quickly gaining attention across healthcare. There was a lot of discussion in physician communities, forums, conferences about how AI could help alleviate some of these admin tasks. So we started looking for a partner who could help us address this challenge. You can see in the picture there, some of us were meeting at our BC headquarters. So that's the Accuro and Heidi teams together. So we spent a lot of time. So Accuro spent a lot of time testing different scribes. We were meeting with vendors, understanding how each solution would fit with the flexibility and customization that Accuro offers without taking hours to be trained on and set up. We needed somebody that was reliable, something that could work across family medicine, specialties, different visit types. It needed to be secure, scalable to support thousands of users. And during this, I mean, we quickly realized the burden that individual providers were up against to do this research task on their own. There were so many to choose from with different ranges in quality alongside the regulatory privacy rules to vet on your own. It was definitely a blocker for a lot of providers to get started with any scribe. So we also wanted to remove that barrier and offer a solid and safe choice for customers to feel good about trying. And lastly, we wanted a solution that could integrate directly into Accuro. So working across multiple screens and applications is frustrating and time consuming in itself. So we wanted to embed the tool directly in the EMR where the providers are already spending most of their day. So as we evaluated all the options, Heidi consistently rose to the top. They already had a really strong reputation. We kept hearing positive feedback from physicians all over Canada who are already using the product. The Heidi team was incredibly collaborative. They had a vision that closely aligned with ours and came ready to make this work. So some of you may not know, but they are based in Australia and our headquarters are in BC. So it was kind of special to get the two teams together just to hammer out the details. So looking at the timeline, by March of 2025, we had a working prototype that we could start showing to people. And by May, we had our first pilot users across different practice types and specialties trying it out. And we learned from them which workflows were most important, what worked well, what didn't, which features they most wished for. And those early adopters really helped us understand how AI scribing could fit into the daily workflow. So then by December, we met our goal of we wanted 500 users just to give us confidence that our systems could support the workload. Our support teams were ready to help customers succeed, and we had sort of a wide range of users giving us feedback. And over the following months, the pilot continued to grow. So even though this is sort of end of year, the word of mouth and providers telling other providers or getting the entire practice on board really grew this pilot. So that was one of the strongest programs that I've been involved with in Accuro over the last 10 years or so. It just sort of took off on its own. And we officially launched in May of this year. So today, we have over 2,500 Accuro users connected to the Heidi integration, and we're continuing to see that number grow by about 13 new users every day, which is really cool to see. So I'll say the most rewarding part of the journey has been hearing about the impact that it's having on providers and their patients. So usually in my role, I hear a lot of problems. So it's been really cool to see, some solutions that are actually having a really positive impact and to actually hear the positive comments coming back. So many people tell us that they're saving significant time with this integration. For some, they're being able to leave work earlier or just have a normal work-life balance. For others, it means they're able to see more patients during the week if that's what you want to do. They're saying that they're less overwhelmed, more organized, more detailed notes, and also able to be more present during patient encounters. So one of the best things about the integration that we're going to demo today is the ability to add existing chart information into the visit summary. So this was something our pilot group was loud and clear about. The standalone scribes are great at summarizing a conversation and creating a note. That's great, but the chart integration with Accuro is what makes this experience so special. So as you know, not everything that needs to be in a note is actually discussed out loud during the visit. You often need information from previous encounters, or there's lists of medications or lab results to be included. And being able to bring pieces of the chart in means providers don't have to verbally dictate after the visit, manually type it out, copy paste, or awkwardly try to work that into the patient conversation, just so it appears on the note. Providers can choose what's relevant for the visit and then bring it into the note. That saves time, and also you can avoid some note bloat by including too much information. So if you have a patient with like a lengthy history of chronic illness come in, but they're just there for a broken thumb, maybe you don't want to include the entire, chronic disease history in that note. So the flexibility to include what's valuable or what's relevant is important. Even for specialists that might need the same types of information, each encounter can still save a ton of time with a note that sounds like them, with less manual pre-charting, or even creating multiple different kinds of summaries and reports with the tool. Yeah, so overall feedback from the physician community has been very positive. The whole intent of this endeavor is to save time and reduce cognitive burden and allow you to focus more of your attention and energy on patient care. So I just wanted to close my piece by saying thank you for all that you do. We really learned a lot during this project. Over to you, Brad.
Thanks, Jen. That was awesome. So as a result of this partnership, we do have 4 distinct options for charting with Accuro. So the first, I would say, is just charting in Accuro without AI Scribe. It's been working for 20 plus years, but we do have a lot of feedback from providers these days. It is very time consuming, which means you don't always finish your day on time. It's a very busy clinic, so it's easy to miss important notes, and you can't always be present in those appointments. The second option would be an external AI Scribe. This is one that's not vetted by Accuro, so it's not a marketplace vendor. It's, of course, not Accuro AI Scribe. So we can't necessarily say how great it's going to be for your clinic. It is obviously unintegrated as well, so you're going to have to go back and forth between the 2 applications. It's still required to copy and paste notes into Accuro. And lastly, it will have independent billing and updates are out of Accuro's control. The third option is our marketplace vendors. So there are lots of good options out there that have been vetted by Accuro. They do have the ability to push a note into Accuro. Unfortunately, you do still have to leave Accuro at times, and you don't have full chart access to add context, which is a huge part of Accuro AI Scribe. So the fourth option, which we've been highlighting this whole time, is, of course, Accuro AI Scribe powered by Heidi. Definitely a recommended option. It's embedded directly in Accuro EMR. The chart context is fantastic. It allows for streamlined pre-charting. We have lots of billing options, which I'm going to go over later in the webinar. And of course, we have a close partnership with Heidi. So that means we can work together to do further improvements, and your customer feedback goes a long way to doing that. And of course, this has been vetted by Accuro in provincial bodies. So before I pass this off to Derek for a live demo here, I just wanted to go over the Accuro AI Scribe workflow at a high level. So it is 5 easy steps. The first is prepare. So just review your relevant chart information and select the documents and labs that you want included. The second is capture. So it just starts with using Accuro AI Scribe out of the encounter note. You work as you do today, and then Accuro AI Scribe will work in the background to capture that information. The third step is generate. So that's Accuro AI Scribe doing its job. So it'll generate the clinical note using your preferred template or workflow. The fourth step is going to be review. So Accuro AI Scribe, it's very, very good, but we still do recommend that you review the generated documentation and make any necessary notes as needed. There's a great option of use Ask Heidi, so use that when appropriate. And then lastly, it's just complete. You're done. So push the finalized note back into Accuro and then continue on with the rest of your day. So yeah, it's got the 5 easy steps there. And Derek, I'd like to pass it to you now.
Thank you, Brad. Let me just share my screen here. Okay. So, hello, everyone. My name is Derek. Like Brad mentioned, I am the training solution designer on the training team. Last month, I did do a full client-facing webinar just going through everything from the setup directly within Accuro, creating those templates within the Heidi website, and then that first note with the patient directly in Accuro. So that whole webinar is recorded and is available on our Accuro resources page if you wanted to go back and watch, in detail, step by step, everything about that. So today I'm just going to go over a couple of examples on how to get the most out of the AI Scribe power by Heidi and just save some time. So for my first example, I have a fake patient here, Vanessa Oval, and I'm going to create just a blank note here in the encounter notes. So my scribe is loading up here. And what I wanted to talk about right now is the context tab. Okay, so this can be used to pre-chart before you see your patient. A lot of providers are also using this to create a patient summary just, maybe I don't need to do a whole lot of pre-charting. I just don't want to go through the encounter notes and read all of those past notes. So you can ask Heidi to summarize everything for you. So if we go to the context tab here, you'll notice at the bottom we can add attachments. And this is the super powerful thing of the integration, is you can add anything from the patient's virtual chart. So, we could add lab results, we could add documents, prescriptions, etc. But for this example, I wanted to go over a patient summary. So I can choose the clinical notes that we've had in the past, or I can right-click on clinical notes and select all clinical notes. So you notice they're all checkmarked. I can click OK, and it's adding our attachments to this note. Now, of course, this does take time depending on the number of attachments or the size of them, but once it does add all of these, then it's going to change to a black highlighted, which it is right now. So a provider can add any additional context. You can freely type here. And then when you're ready, you can create a note just by clicking Create from Context. So here we would need to choose which template we're going to use. Now, this is a reminder that you cannot create or edit templates directly in Accuro. You have to go to the Heidi website for that. If you wanted to go over, if you wanted to review that, I did go over this all in our last webinar, so you can always go back and watch the recording of that. I have a template called Past Clinical Visit Summary. So I'm going to use that, and it's going to generate a note. Again, this is only on the context of my past notes within this patient's virtual chart. And you'll notice I have it set up. It shows all my visit history. We have reoccurring issues, current medication, recent lab results. So this is a great summary of everything to do with this patient before I even see them. Now, I wanted to bring attention to a really powerful feature with Heidi, is this Ask Heidi to Do Anything. So you can think of this as, Hey Siri, or Hey Google, and you can ask them to do anything you want. So I've summarized all of our past clinical notes, and then I can ask Heidi to maybe pull something out of that information. So I can kind of like a reporting. So maybe I'm like, provide the dates that the patient and I discussed hypertension. So every provider is different of what you're looking for before your visit. So think outside of the box here, and you can just ask Heidi to provide this information. You'll notice Heidi is thinking about it, and then on the video visit here, it's going to give me the dates that I did this, or I was looking for this. And I can add this possibly to the bottom of the note, and then I just have that for future reference. At any time when you're ready, you can highlight or click anywhere on the left-hand side and push that note into your Accuro note. I have that. I can save that to the patient chart for myself, or I can just save this, and then when the patient does show up, then I can start the visit and generate a note for that visit. So it's pretty powerful stuff that you can do just from the context from chart items. Okay, so I do have a second example here. So I was going to talk about, sorry, I have a little bit of issues right now. I have another patient here, Mr. Otto Octagon. So I wanted to talk about the time saving that you can do by making multiple notes all from the same transcript. So I do have a note that I recorded previously, just the other day, just to save some time here. So I'm going to open this up, and it's loading my scribe. And you'll notice here under transcript, I did this yesterday, and I just paused it here. So the visit is already completed, and I wanted to make, maybe I'm a general practitioner and I needed to make a SOAP note for my virtual chart. So right now I just have it set as a general note, but when I select template, I would choose my SOAP note. It's generating this note from the transcript, and it has the entire note. So again, I would review this note to make sure it accurately represents our visit. And when ready, I can then highlight into the Accuro note and push it. and then save that to the patient's virtual chart. But now that I've done that, maybe I needed to make multiple notes. So right beside push note, there's a little drop-down arrow. And if we click this, there is a create new Accuro note. And so here I can choose, a template from Accuro and give it a title. So maybe I needed to do a patient summary. This is something that Heidi has templates for. Maybe I wanted to print this off and give it to the patient, just talking about what we talked about today. So you'll notice here I have a brand new note, now labeled patient summary. The other one is right behind there. And I can choose a new template or click on this magic wand here and create a new document here. And then for my template, I'm going to choose the patient explainer letter. So this template is part of Heidi. You'll have that there. We can look and we have just a patient summary for the patient. So again, I can click into my note, push that note, and I could then file and print, give it to the patient on their way out, or I could save it to the patient's virtual chart. And then if I had Medio, I could send them this information via patient messaging. And then really quickly, perhaps I also needed to make a referral letter. It's all from one transcript. Again, I can click the drop down and create another note. And I'm just going to choose a blank note, except this time a referral. And we're going to choose another template, and we're going to just do a referral letter. And again, we have our basic referral letter. I can review this to make sure it's how I would like it. Again, I'm just showing this as another example of how you can ask Heidi to do anything. Perhaps my template is a little off, and this patient needed a referral for in-home care. And I don't need to go and change my entire template. I can just ask Heidi to do anything. So again, I'm just going to type in here, make this a referral for in-home care. Heidi is thinking, and it's going to change the vocabulary. You could say, could you make this a warmer tone, or please use more professional language, etc. And then if you like this better, you can add that to your note. You can replace to it, just copy the specific text. And again, maybe I like this better, so I'm going to replace that note. Wherever my cursor is, I can then push that note into Accuro. And then from here, I can generate my letter and then send it to the appropriate person. So these were two really quick examples of how you can use that context tab to pull things from their chart and get the most out of it by, thinking outside of the box and getting Heidi to do some of the reporting for yourself, as well as make 3 notes. And I think I did that in about 5 minutes. So a huge time saver there. So that's the end of my demonstration, and I'll pass this back to Brad.
Thanks, Derek. Let me steal the screen back from you here. All right. That was very informative. Thank you. So what we want you to take away, we've got 3 very important things here. So the first is integration matters. So the value isn't only the AI Scribe, it's having the capability connected to your familiar Accuro workflow. The second is context matters. So the ability to work with relevant chart information is extremely valuable and is what separates Accuro AI Scribe from other products. The last one here is time savings comes from the workflow. So as Derek's example there, it took him about 6 minutes to do that, but over time, it's going to save you a lot of time, and it really adds up over the course of a day, week, month, year, years. And we really want you to get time back in your day so you can finish up on time. So here are some subscription options. we do have an Accuro integrated plan that we offer ourselves. It's called the Accuro AI Scribe Plus. It is $80 a month. It is month to month, which is nice and flexible. It includes all of the core Accuro AI Scribe features, and then the billing is directly through us. There's also the option to bring your Heidi license. Sorry. So say you're an early adopter, you've been using Heidi for months, years, and you like your license. We are able to integrate it with Accuro. You just reach out, and we will get that integrated for you. We just want to point out that there is no double billing. So despite it being integrated with Accuro, if you're being billed with Heidi right now, it will continue to do so. We will not double bill you. And lastly here, there are a few licenses that aren't currently supported with this integration. There's the Heidi free license, the Evidence Plus, and the Evidence Team. There we go. And then we definitely want to highlight our 2-week free trial. So it's eligible for all new users to the integration. I just want to point out, so those early adopters who are bringing over their Heidi license, they are eligible for this 2-week free trial. There is no future billing commitment with this trial. So say after 2 weeks, you say this product isn't for you, you're not going to get billed for the next month. There is no billing commitment. So that is that. However, we do recommend that you choose your subscription during your free trial for uninterrupted access. So if your 2-week free trial goes on and you don't choose a subscription, obviously you will lose access to it. So just an FYI there. And while this isn't the onboarding webinar, Derek did one about a month ago, we'll just go over this quickly just so you are prepared. So the first step to get onboarded into Accuro AI Scribe is to ask your system administrator to enable it in the Accuro Admin Center. Once it's enabled, a provider will be able to go into Accuro, find in the encounter note, and request access within Accuro. From there, they can start their 2-week free trial and link their Heidi account to Accuro. Eventually, after that, though, your system admin will need to approve provider's request in Accuro. And from there, you'll be able to start using Accuro AI Scribe to its full capability. So we do have a lot of additional resources available to you. I do recommend, with little technical difficulties there, our communities page here, it's our onboarding hub. So those 4 steps that I just went through with you, we do have it in more depth here, and it's very helpful. We have additional resources if you're getting stuck along the way. All these are available on Accuro Resources, and we have even more down at the bottom here. As I mentioned previously, there was a webinar about a month ago going through the onboarding steps in a lot of depth. You can find all of our Accuro webinars on our Accuro Resources page. This is the one happening right now, and the one that happened in July, Accuro AI Scribe, powered by Heidi from Setup to First Note, is where you'll find the in-detail depth about how to set up Accuro AI Scribe.